just like to get your first reactions to that speech and the strategy.
Sure. Well, thank you for having me. I think it was a very strong speech, and it laid bare a number of very interesting things, a number of President Trump's competing or contradictory impulses. On the one hand, he was somebody who came to office saying that we do not want and should not have any more stupid, endless wars in the Middle East. And obviously for him, the number one example of that was the invasion of Iraq under President George W. Bush. But he was also the candidate who said that we should not have left Iraq prematurely under Barack Obama, and that created a vacuum for the rise of ISIS. And he also was the candidate who said Americans need to win again, both overseas and abroad, and that they need to get to the point where they're winning so much under him that they would be tired of it. And it looks like today he sided with the second set of those impulses, and that for now he is willing not to abandon the war effort in Afghanistan, not to withdraw, and instead actually to add more troops to the war effort.
Yeah, it is interesting, isn't it? Because depending on how you look at it, it could be a complete about-face when it comes to the stance that he took going into the campaign. He said again, troops will fight to win. This is going to be, you know, a strategy that is focused on winning. But it's worth pointing out, we're almost 16 years into America's longest war. He's now the third US president to really, let's face it, struggle to be able to get out of it. So what is he going to be able to do that his predecessors haven't been able to?
Well, I think he enunciated some things that are different from his predecessors. Number one, he did say today that we're there to kill terrorists. We're not there to do nation building. Now, as we all remember, under President George W. Bush, there was a heavy emphasis on nation building, particularly in the Middle East. It might seem a bit quaint now, but we do remember that when we went into Iraq, there was a lot of call for building the Middle East into kind of a place where a democratic revolution in the region was possible. Trump is not at all interested in anything like that. He wants to defeat the terrorists. Number two, I think he distinguished himself from President Obama by saying that we're not here to talk about artificial deadlines and we're not here to let our enemies wait us out. I think that is also a bit of a shift to the emphasis on calling out Pakistan as a place that harbors terrorists that do us harm. That is also something that a lot of American leaders aren't willing to do publicly, even if they know very well that's true privately. The interest or the concern about engaging India, I think those are all new things. However, I think you're right. We've been fighting this war for the last 16 years, and this is not the first time that a president has called for a troop surge. Let's remember that under President Obama, the troop levels increased from about 25,000 to up to about 100,000 in 2010, 2011. And so are we simply looking at more of the same, or will these changes that President Trump has announced be enough? I think he's a man who doesn't have patience for just a continuation of the same things over and over again. And I think his supporters are, as he correctly pointed out, very wary of all of these foreign entanglements and how much they cost, too. So ultimately, I think he and his team will have to deliver some results. I don't think this is, you know, an effort that we can just keep going on and on and on supporting.